All right, welcome back into another episode of Indiebnb. Today I'm joined by Joshua Gale of the band Gale Bird out of Charleston. Josh, how we doing on this Charleston evening?
Hey, it's pretty cold, but we're doing great. Appreciate you having us on, Grant.
Of course, of course. Well, I think you guys reached out to me, and I started checking out some of your stuff. Really, really loving, kind of the country sound. Something that we've been deep in the Charleston rock game for a long time. I've got some deep rooted guys over there, but glad to get a little bit more of the country feel going here. So, talk to me about the scene, man. Like where you're at, like how it's kind of shaped you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Our roots, obviously, Sean and I met in college. He was majoring in jazz theory and math. I think he got a math degree because his parents were freaking out. Like, what are you going to do with a music degree? And he just wanted to be a musician. And then he and I met. We started writing music in college. He was on the technical side, trying to become the greatest jazz musician, guitarist, pianist, all that stuff. And I invited him over into the world of country music on alternative rock, and and seeing if we could make some kind of sound out of the two of us, and put a band together and played music and kind of put a little touring circuit together. And then we both got married, kind of took a little hiatus from playing music. And I hit him up one day, a little over a decade later, and said, "Hey man, I think we need to finish what we started." And he was all about it. And so we put another incredible band back together, and figured out how to put together, one of the greatest alternative country live performances, we think that people can experience. It's a blast. Couldn't imagine life without it. So
wow. So you had this 10-year break. Like, has that really fueled kind of the songs as you guys have gotten back together? Like, what percentage are from pre-break? Which percentage are from post-break that we can now listen to on the platforms, if you will?
Yeah. So pre-break, was. And we'll still release some more that were from the pre-break. We've got about 3 songs that'll come out early in 26 that we think are the best songs we have put out yet. And we've spent a lot of time on them. And so I think one of those was the pre-break, and then, the 2 of those coming out will be, what we've written more recently. But the thought behind that was, for me, I really don't see. I'm a family man. I've got a wife and 4 kids. It's the biggest dream I've ever had in my life, is to have a family. Coach my kids in sports and read books and just spend as much time with them as possible. And I don't know, and I haven't seen anybody do that really well that's playing music. Sure. And everybody, every label, every person wanting to make money off of a musician's asking them to become a vagabond, to travel and tour 300 days a year and, figure out how to rest in between. I mean, people never realize how to be home. Their homes are empty, their apartments are empty, their families are like, cool, it's a little, something special when you're home, but they don't know how to act. You've got people like Luke Combs coming off the road. You've got, lots of different people coming off the road, to explain that, what they're singing about and desiring they already had, and they kind of left it behind to go be everybody else's favorite singer. I watched an interview when I was in college, John Wooden. You can debate, I know you're a Clemson fan, you can debate who the best college football coach is, right? You can debate who the best NFL coach is, you can debate who the best NBA coach is, you can debate any sport, but there's no debating college basketball. John Wooden, legendary UCLA basketball coach from 48 to 75, 7 consecutive out of 10 NCAA titles. There has never been another coach who's had 10 NCAA titles. There never will be, because players now go a year or 2 in college and go to the NBA. So there never will be another John Wooden. There never will be another coach that could win 7 consecutive or 10 NCAA titles. So I was listening to this, and that, like, it's not to say like, oh, he didn't coach now. Like, you know, basketball is still extremely competitive, and so he finishes in 75. He's the best coach ever, like, in basketball. Everybody wants to interview him. He could name his price for speaking engagements. He could, you know, write books and, you know, live large the rest of his life. He's the uncontested best coach. In 1980, so he's done coaching in 75. In 1985, his wife dies, and still lives like a great life. But in his 90s, an ESPN reporter's like, dang, like, we got to get at least a couple more interviews out of this guy, because, like, let's get his perspective in his 90s, you know, he's nearing death, right? And John kind of knew when he took this interview, like, what they were hinting at. Like, there's not another one of you. We can't replace you. It's going to be really tragic when you go, because there's never been another one of you. And what do you think about college basketball? What do you think about life? Do you have any regrets? All the things you would ask somebody at the end of their life. And John was, like, very coherent in his 90s. Like, dude really took care of himself. He could pick up on all that. And he said, hey, listen, I would give up all 10 NCAA titles. I would give up the title coach. I would give up the fame, the fortune, like, everything, if I could have my wife. If I could just spend another day with my wife, just one day. He said, I just miss her. I would just give up anything. And he said, I didn't spend enough time with her. It was all about basketball and recruiting and coaching and everything. And he said, I wish I had more time with her. I heard that, understood that, and, like, the guy who had reached the top, the pinnacle of coaching, of sports, of everything, and I, you know, being an athlete myself, I was listening to that and thinking, like, the guy who says don't make the same mistake is saying you can reach the pinnacle of your career and just miss out on everything, like, whether you're a businessman, entrepreneur, athlete, musician, everything, and look back and, like, you don't get another day with your child, you don't get another day with your wife, you know, all these things. Like, I've got 4 kids. They will be between the ages of 1 and 18 for a short period, and then the rest of their lives I know them as adults. And they'll either hate me or love me as an adult, you know, based on how I treated them for 18 years living, you know. And I listened to that, and it really hit me hard of, like, I'm not going to sacrifice, maybe if I want to pursue music or pursue business or anything, I'm not going to sacrifice my family to obtain whatever it is I think I should obtain or deserve to obtain, or listen to what the world tells me is what success looks like. I'm already living the dream that they're singing about. Yeah. So that hit me really hard. And I wanted to focus on my marriage. I wanted to focus on my children. I wanted to coach all the basketball, the baseball, the soccer, all that kind of stuff, and really deny myself what I thought or what the world thinks success looks like, and trying to figure out how to pioneer. Can it still be done? Sure. But not traveling and being gone forever and ever and ever, which I think it can. You know, I love playing live music. The scene that I'm in here in Charleston is not a place where you get to break out as a musician and have a ton of reps. So, like, playing live is all about reps, like getting out and understanding, you know, all the different adversities that come along with playing a live show. You don't get those unless you're playing live. You can rehearse all you want to. You can sit in the garage, the studio, whatever it may be. Playing live, all these different factors fill in. And then you really kind of convince yourself the competence and confidence of who you are as a performer, as a musician, songwriter. How are your lyrics resonating with people? How are your moments that you've tried to draft into this show really hitting people? And so we've put on some great shows here in Charleston, you know, and every venue's like, hey, when we have a country artist coming through, like, you guys are the support. We make more money when you play, you know, everybody's extremely impressed. We really find it hard to believe that you guys are local and all this different stuff. And that's encouraging. But still, you don't get as many reps as you'd want to have or like to have. And so we're still trying to figure out how to do that. We've got a little short circuit set up here in March where we're doing Greenville, South Carolina, Brevard, North Carolina, Johnson City, Tennessee, and then coming back to Charleston and doing that in 3 days, and then trying to figure out from there, getting invites to places like the Cowboy Music Festival and Calgary, Canada. How do we make that work where it's not like we're breaking the bank and it does work out, and they've got a back line for us, and how, once you've rented the backline gear, the lodging, the all that stuff, paying the band, with travel and all that kind of stuff, can you break even and then just say you had a great time? It's extremely difficult to make money in this industry, streaming, all that kind of stuff, unless you are blowing up, building a following, all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to navigate all of that world while still having young families, and we just don't want to blow it. Their lives are more precious than our egos and what we think we want to accomplish in our heads. So I'm thankful for people like John Wooden and other people that I've noticed in my life that, even Luke Combs, for saying, hey, like it's not worth it. Like, you guys are going to have to hold on. Like, I love you all, my fans. You're how I make my money, but like, family's more important. Telling the label to hold on, like, don't count me out, but like, let me figure this out. I think there's got to be a break at some point in time where musicians strike somehow, not in just like, let's make more money with streaming, but let's figure out how to like have a work-life balance. Everybody else cares about it, but they don't really care about it for the musician, because they don't understand the lifestyle that comes along with touring and being on the road. They don't understand the lifestyle of, like, we don't make money unless you buy merch or buy an album rather than streaming an album, or we don't make money unless we play a show and you show up plus you buy a shirt for gratuity. Like, it's not making money. It's playing a game and having a good time with your boys, but it's not a life that is a legacy to everybody else, around you.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of good points there. I think, like, it's funny you mentioned the kind of the work-life, balance, and trying to figure out how to grow as an artist, but also continue to be obviously there for your family. I find one of my people I've had on the show, Lowen, she's somebody the same boat, kind of like, she decided to have a family, and she's trying to figure out the same thing you guys are, of like, hey, how do I continue to go and do a gig in Atlanta but come back home and, like, make sure that I'm not missing out on anything that's important. So I think, like, very, very appropriate that we're going to roll into, I Still Do, that, again, kind of keeping in that family theme of, it seems like you wrote this one about, your wife, or somebody wrote it about somebody's wife, or it's one that's definitely a family-oriented one. So talk to me about that. I mean, as you have, as you were creating that song specifically, was that a pre-hiatus or post-hiatus one?
It was post-hiatus. We all have, like, different superpowers within us. Like, I'm very justice-driven. Like, I hate, and my wife is too, I hate corruption.
Sure.
In politics, especially on both sides of the aisle, like, can't stand it. And I think I have the ability to cut through the clutter, kind of pull on the strings, look at the finances. And a lot of people don't have the capacity to see, like, local and state politics as well, and how much corruption goes on in each of those places. South Carolina is super, we call them Dixiecrats, like, we've been here a long time, we're going to look out for ourselves, we're going to put money in our pockets, all this kind of stuff. And man, I really can't stand it. And so, like, being a very capable person, marketing, web design, having a ton, hundreds of thousands, lots of friends, and everybody jokes around here. I'm the illegitimate mayor, because, like, everybody knows me. I know everybody in every sphere of societal influence, because I've never stayed out of any of the spheres. I was the guy at the lunch table. Man, I loved sitting with everybody. I never sat at the same table, and I loved laughing with every single type of person at school. Like, nobody was off limits of appreciating. Like, I literally saw the value in everybody.
Sure.
And I think it was a gift, and I really just wanted to love on everybody. And so, here I would see corruption. Charleston is one of the greatest cities on the planet. It's beautiful. It's historic. My wife and I and the kids, when they're not in school on Fridays, we spend a lot of time on our boat in the Charleston harbor, and we're going to different places. We're looking at all the big giant houses and figuring out how people make so much money. Just we're convincing ourselves there's enough money out there for everybody to make, because look at how many big houses there are. And so we're out on the boat. We're just enjoying vitamin D. The wind and the sun and the sand, and beaching it at different places, and feeling like different places belong to us because we're the only ones there, and telling stories and just eating lunch and just all that kind of stuff. And it really is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world. But I'm seeing in this, so, just like Atlanta has different metropolitan areas where you live, you've got, everything. Everybody says Atlanta, but you're usually in like Gwinnett, where you're in this area, or this area, or this area. So Charleston's got North Charleston. It was tourism-wise, what you see in ads is like the peninsula. It's a very small 2-mile radius place, that's on the harbor. Then you have Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, Allendale, all the islands, Sullivan's Island, James Island. You've got Somerville, Monk's Corner. It really is just, and it's growing like every city. Like Atlanta, it just kept going out. More people kept moving out as a suburb of Charleston. And so where my wife and I are positioned, we're right in the middle of Somerville and North Charleston, and I saw some corruption happening locally in the city government, and it just bothered the crap out of me. So being the wild man I am, I told my wife I want to run for city council. I want to even if I don't win, I want to expose the crap. I want to use my marketing skills. I just want to literally let everybody know, all 10,000 people in my district, hey, this is what you voted for, and this is how you're being represented. And anytime you run for office and work a full-time job and coach baseball and play music and write music and all the things, and you're a busy person like I am, something will always get robbed. It just can't be the same thing all the time. Mm-hmm. What got robbed in that time of running for city council and doing all those things was my marriage. My wife, at the same time of doing all that, was actually experiencing some depression, and she was pregnant. So there was pregnancy plus postpartum kind of stuff in there, which is all stuff you can't control. It's hormonal. It's in your body. Those things change. And so this was our fourth child. And but she was trying to be a good wife and trying not to be needy, seeing how hard I'm working around the clock, but eventually I think it just snowballed. And one night she came to me and she just said, I don't know how you feel about me at all, and I don't know if we could even go back in time, knowing what you know now and how you feel right now, if you would even still ask me to marry you. And I'm a person where feelings don't dictate my actions at all. I will always choose her over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't love out of, and you might know me for 5 minutes and know that I'm a Christian and that I love the Lord. You can hear it in the music. You can, see it in all the things. And I've just had a great journey to try to figure that, discover that. Didn't get it from my family. Didn't get it from my parents, all that kind of stuff. Had to really go on a journey to discover that. But Paul says that we don't love and show kindness because we're being kind to, somebody serving us or being kind to us or loving us. We show kindness and love out of reverence for God. And so I get that, but women are completely wired so differently. They have to feel we just want to be respected. Women just want to feel loved. They have to feel loved to feel secure. They have to feel loved to just know things are okay. and I grew up in a house full of men. Like, didn't get in a parents with like a relationship that nobody should model their relationship after. So a lot of times my wife knows I'm like shooting from the hip. So I'm like, man, Melissa, I'm so sorry. Like, that's on me. And I've kind of dragged you through the mud here, and I've neglected you, and here you are like mentally in the worst place you've been in a very, very long time, and I'm over here focused on saving the city. And it was real. What she was saying was really, really real. And I told her, I said, listen, I will always agree with younger me. He was a genius. We don't give him enough credit. And I will never regret asking you to marry me, and I will continue to always want to be married to you. You're the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And I don't deserve you, all those things. And not just saying it just to flatter her, like she knows it, like, you know, and but she wasn't hearing it. Like, my actions might have said certain things. I can serve, I can be kind, I can provide, I can tell others, you know, about her, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter if she didn't feel it. I wasn't saying it. I think words are extremely important, and we don't say the things that I don't know why, but we don't say the things that we think in our heads enough. And if it's not echoing between her ears, I haven't said it enough. If something else is in her mind that's louder than I love you, Melissa, and I will always love you, and all those things, I'm not saying it enough. And so I went and I apologized, and I really had to sit in that, and went and sat in a writing session with Sean, and told Sean, like, hey, he's like, well, what do you want to write about? I was like, well, man, we just had this conversation the other night, and I hated hearing this, but Melissa's right. Like, she doesn't know how I feel, and she asked me if I would even just still want to be married to her, and would I even change the outcome if I somehow had a time machine. And literally within a half an hour, one of those organic, magical things happened where I Still Do came out. Sean did a melody, and I said, that's a melody right there. Watch this. I'm going to sing a melody on top of that. And then all of a sudden, the song came together piece by piece by piece, like so quickly. And I wish every song could. Some have to be rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. But we're able to sit down and write it out, and really hash out like where things went wrong and how things could change and turn around. And you know, whether you start on the wrong foot or the right foot, that marriage is worth it. It is the hardest thing in the world. You know, I don't know anything with a worse failure rate besides like restaurants failing within the first year, because everybody needs food, but then nobody wants to show up over and over and over to eat your food and all that kind of stuff. And food prices are ridiculous because of corrupt government. But we don't need to go off on that tangent. But no, marriages are a failing rate that are just insanely sad. And I've studied so many statistics. Even you know, one of my biggest mentors is a coach, and he's got an incredible marriage. But I looked at the divorce rate for coaches, and it's 70%. It's just 7 out of every 10 are getting divorced. 5 out of every 10 couples are getting divorced. Like, that failure rate is like getting how sad for a generation to say, like, we're going to get married, but like 10 of us in this room are going to get married. 5 of us will be divorced within 1 to 5 years, and then the rest of the percentage by 20 years. It's so hard. And so Sean and I were talking about, like, we need more music. I told Sean, like, I need these songs, and we were starting to write some other songs, like My Lines, that hopefully we'll be able to release one day, and been here before. I need to write, like, when I'm like sober-minded and like thinking really clearly or in alignment with God, like, these are the thoughts about my wife that I'm having. These are the thoughts about being a dad, and like all these really things that are like pertain to life. These are the thoughts that I have, so that when I get to the place where, like, I feel disappointed by somebody, or I feel hurt, neglected, you know, unappreciated, angry, whatever it is, like, I mean, we go through so many things in life, whatever those things are that I'm feeling in that moment, I can listen to these songs and say, no, dude, like when you were thinking clearly, like that's what it was. So listen to the song about 5 or 10 times. Call your wife or call your friend or call your dad, call whoever it is. Tell them you're sorry, you love them, and like that, like life is too short to keep on with this feeling the way we're feeling. And and Melissa and I still, to this day, if you listen to any other podcast or anything about us, and look at social reels or anything, she didn't sing for a long time. Somebody, when she was younger, told her to stop singing. It was a boy she liked, and that little girl in 4th grade, like, she absorbed that, and she never did sing again. Maybe in the background of some choir, but never up front. And I really had to pull that out of her. But she still does not love performing. She's incredible at it. And people are like, oh my God, like, your voice is incredible. I love watching y'all. She moves, she grooves, she plays tambourine, all these things. But there is like so much anxiety going into that. There's so much like uncomfortableness that she has to walk through to even do it. And then to sing about marriage, which, like, tell me somebody who's got a perfect marriage and I'll, congratulate them. Like, yeah, they're a liar. Tell you that, and so to get up and sing about your marriage in front of a couple hundred people is also very hard, because she's an extremely authentic person who, like, wants to, again, feel very confident and clearly like that these are the things she feels in that moment. And so sometimes we have the discussion, okay, like, let's let our feelings follow our actions rather than our actions following our feelings. So like we've become so close through performing music and writing music and singing about marriage, because like we want these things to be so true all the time, and it's hard when they're not. And so even last week, I was feeling some stuff, and was feeling sick, and just life is pretty crazy with 4 kids and all the things. And there was a passage I was reading, a Psalm 27:4, and it's like, there's one thing that I ask, one thing that I seek, that I would dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and gaze upon the beauty of the Lord. And it basically, when I was like reading through it and reading like some devotional around it, it was like, there is a place where you can become in your life, and this is where I think everyone, I hope, should be at some point, and I feel like this was extremely key for me, because I can get disappointed real quick, with my wife or, just with somebody else, and we will always be disappointed by our parents, spouse, pastors, professionals, like whoever we work for, professional athletes, like, people on a stage, or like, artists that kind of may take a different view than we think politically, or whatever, or they have a huge falling out, like, they cheat on somebody or whatever. We will always be disappointed by some type of person in our life that we put up on some pedestal that weren't supposed to be there. And that verse for me that hit me last week was like, Josh, like, the Bible says that Jesus can fulfill every single need in your life. Desire, like emotion, like everything, and to where everybody else in your life just gets to be the cherry on top, like the garnish. Like, if your wife loves you and serves you and like does, really well, it's just a garnish on top, but you didn't need it to feel fulfilled. You didn't need her to like show up in every single certain way for you to feel fulfilled. You didn't need your music career to blow up and like everybody to see what God already said he saw and put in you, because he told you, he put it there, and it was for him, and all these different things, and like he sees you, he loves you, he knows you, all these different things. And so like that really hit me hard last week when I was reading through that, because there are times where I do get like disappointed or let down or angry or whatever it may be. And there's those times where I don't want to feel, like, you ever been angry and you don't want to be angry? You're like, I don't want to feel this way. Like, this is so stupid. Why do I feel this way? I don't want to feel this way about this person or whatever it may be. And I was in that moment and I was like, I don't have to. but I needed to find some kind of verse or something, some kind of, some people would say like a mantra or something for whatever it is for them. For me, it's scripture, because it's living and breathing. And so, not trying to turn this into like a sermon or something, but I'm just being honest of like where it's taken me from like my lowest lows of like sleepless nights of being angry or hurt or disappointed to like working my way out of a hole, out of a ditch mentally, from letting it, because the longer I would let it obsess, the more depressed I could become. And I heard like, another guy that I look up to, Marcus Lemonis, he posted a podcast, I think yesterday, and he says literally has so much anxiety. He's one of the most successful business people in the world. Camping World, he had a show.
Yeah.
If you never watched the show with Marcus Lemonis, The Prophet, like such a great show, such a cool guy. But he said on this podcast he has debilitating depression and anxiety so bad, and he said the only thing that heals him and helps him is working his freaking butt off. And he hates Sundays because he's ready for Monday so bad to start firing off emails and talking to people and making money and all the things. And even if he's losing money, he doesn't care. Like he's working, he's busy. And I would just hate that so much, Mm-hmm. And he got married more recently, and I think he's chilled out a little bit. And I think he's stepping away from like Camping World and stuff. But I would just hate to look back on things and say like I chose to be anxious and depressed so bad that I just worked so much just to disguise it. And I hate that for him. I'm like brokenhearted for him. And I've seen people like that. Last comment I'll make, I worked for a billionaire about 2 years ago. I won't say his name, but one of the most successful businessmen in the world. Flew around, lots of trips to Aspen. And I mean, he literally took a plane to and from work 2 or 3 times a week, and did not want to retire, even though he's well beyond retirement age. One of the wealthiest people in the world, and he told me, he said, I would literally give all of this away if 2 of my 5 children could be sober and not have to go back to rehab over and over and over again and hit the bottle, and I never had the courage to ask, like how did that happen? But part of me thinks like, where were you? If you're still working now, like where were you? And I don't want to have any type of success if I had to sacrifice my children or my marriage to get there. I know that's a lot. I've been talking your ear off, but I feel like this is just where I've been. It was a heavy past 2 weeks, but that's where I've been.
Yeah, I think it gives context to, I still do. And I guess, really, truly the motivation behind like getting into and writing that song for your wife, right? Like that's what she said to you. And I was, is a hard thing to hear. And I'm sure that like you internalize that and you have to kind of express yourself in some way, form or fashion in order to, either, not obviously to make it right in private, but like, you want to put something out there that's going to be out there forever that other people can hear that will inspire them to do the same, right? And
especially my kids, yeah,
especially your kids. I you're not the first person actually. There's a guy who I interviewed, and he's like, man, like whether I get famous or big doing this, I love doing it. I love making music, and really, I'm just writing songs so that they're going to be on the internet forever. And that people, my kids can show their friends, and my kids can show their kids, their kids, right? Yeah. And thinking through, like, how permanent everything we put out is, now, like, I think that's, more than ever, we need, people who are, putting out a message that, they believe in and they have, not necessarily everybody's going to agree with, but, like, I think that at the end of the day, you're putting out your truth and you're putting out the thing that hey, I'd do the same thing that I would have done, that I did 10 years ago, again and again. And I'm sure when you hear that song, or when that song becomes massive, first of all, your buddy who's the groomsman who was late to the wedding is going to be really embarrassed. That's my lyric brother. For anybody. Yeah. Your brother. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got stuck on a sandbar. He wouldn't have a good time on a sandbar and got stuck. But the beauty of it is on the other side of that too. We laugh about that now. It hurt me that day because it was, I was pretty angry about it. But like It wasn't him. It was just it was a substance kind of thing. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm probably more proud of him than anybody else in the world right now. He's my birthday was a couple weeks ago, and on my birthday, he celebrated for the first time in his adult life 6 months of sobriety. That was the greatest birthday gift anybody could ever ask for. When you've watched your brother walk through so much substance abuse in his entire adult life, and you've had to kind of bail him out, or do whatever, or watch it, or explain to other people what's really kind of going on, and still love him and honor him through that whole process. It's extremely difficult, and but no, we laugh about it now. But it's a part for us where him and we've walked through a lot together. So, yeah.
I love that. And at least, again, like I said, there's so many elements to the song. So I highly encourage our listeners to go give it a listen, and here I still do, and with all the context that they just heard it from. And I think it, like, even more so now, I think it's special, to hear it, because I mean, like, I heard it's a catchy tune. It's from the face value, but like, diving in and understanding more about it, I think is awesome. So, thanks for writing it. Thanks for putting it out there. Thanks for bearing your soul and being able. So, well, let's talk. I mean, kind of transition over. As you guys you're looking to the future. Obviously, we're trying to do this. The work-life balance, for lack of a better term. But you mentioned 3 songs coming out in 2026. You have the March, mini run there. Is there anything else that you have that you guys are working on currently, or is there an album in the mix? What's the future look like?
We're still in a world of singles, I think. And we at the end of the day, we report to our label. They're telling us what's good, what's not good, what to keep working on. How what are we going to do to try to make this thing? It's a business as well as an art. When there's we're not independent, but with so much of an investment behind it. And so we're really reworking music. We're really putting so much into it, but again, trying to figure out how it works. I think we can reshape it. I look at artists like Forrest Frank, like he never built an audience by going out and performing and playing a bunch of clubs all the time. Like, he blew up. He built an audience through social media by himself, curated that audience, put out a music that was good enough to stand on its own without a performance, and then went out and put on an incredible performance. I think it can happen. I think the big 3, the biggest labels in the world who are buying all the AI and all that kind of stuff are realizing that, like, social media, you can build an audience, but that doesn't exactly equate to ticket sales. Like, it's got to be, this music has to be incredible too. It can't be one viral song. It's got to be followed up by something else that's just as great or even better. And then content, like, they like the person behind it, the genuineness, all that kind of stuff. And I think he's kind of given a big middle finger to, like, the industry as it is right now, saying, no, I think, like, I'm not going to go to that award show, and like, I don't make music for you. I make it for this reason, and then I'm going to go tour and I'm going to sell out, but I actually don't need this assistance over here. I can have people administratively help me, but I don't have to sell my soul to then go over here and say, like, I owe you this many tour dates, this many songs, this much in return. I think there's ability to figure out, and there's a new generation coming that can say, like, we can pioneer this to where it benefits us, and then, like, we don't have to, like, live life on the road forever and ever and ever. And miss some of the greatest times of our life, so that we could just retire one day. I think that whole thing of retirement, like working for retirement, is kind of stupid. Yeah, I'm going to work really hard now in the best years of my life, so that when I'm old and, like, can't even control my bladder anymore, I can go relax somewhere on a beach. Like, I think that whole thing's stupid. Like, I'm going to live really, really, really well within my means now. And then later in, Dave Ramsey, I think, says the opposite of that. I think he's in your neck of the woods, no, he's in Tennessee.
Tennessee guy, I think, yeah.
And work like nobody now so you can live like nobody later. Now, how about I live like nobody now, and then within my means, and figure out how to do that really special with my family, not building debt, but then sacrifice and, like, kill the ego and kill some of my dreams where I think success is, so that later on, like, my kids do want to spend time with me, and I don't necessarily have to or need to retire at a certain age. I can literally want to. I enjoy working because I know how to put it in the right balance. So, yeah. But yeah, this coming year, I think we're still pioneering. We're trying to figure out how do we get from here to there without killing everybody in the process. So,
well, we'll be watching, and hopefully, I hope it happens. Hope there's a small date here in Atlanta we can come see you, and
we're looking at
somewhere
Eddie's
in the
Attic. Some different places there. Got tons of friends there, and it's such a great city.
I love that.
So, we'll hit you up and post it if you want to follow us. Everything is at Galebird Music.
Here we go.
Galebird.com. That's GALEBIRD.com. There you can find out like every streaming platform, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes links, they're all there. YouTube Music, and then you've got Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that kind of stuff there as well. We got some merchandise on the website. It's some cool stuff. If you ever really want to support an artist and like appreciate them and want to show a little gratitude, like nothing says thank you more than like going to buy a T-shirt or buying whatever. We got a lot of stuff on that store, that people can purchase, and so that means the world to artists when people do that. It really kind of tells us like, keep going, dude. Like somebody appreciates you, a lot. So
certainly.
Christmas is coming up. If you like any of the music, share that with somebody.
I love it. Well, Josh, we'll roll right into the the kind of the finisher here as after that awesome conversation. The Pete Peterson party pack of questions. We'll really get deep with you here on some mainly food-based this or that questions, but we'll roll right into it. Cake or pie, Joshua Gale?
All right.
Cake or pie? What do
it's
you
a
got?
cake. It's going to be like a tres leche or some kind of cold cake. I don't know if you are a cold cake person, but
tiramisu, if you will.
Tiramisu. You got those Heath Bar cake, which is one of my favorites, or you got the no bake eclair cake. If you ever never had that, it's incredible.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe heating it up here. Salad or soup?
Oh God, salad is what my food eats, so I would say soup.
All right, Mr. Swanson, I love that. All right. Sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of these days?
East Coast, we get a lot of sunrises, but you got to get up pretty early to see it, and the ground's still wet and kind of nasty. I would love a good sunset. Haven't seen too many, living here on the East Coast predominantly majority of the time, so I prefer a sunset, but, of course we get more sunrises over here on the East.
Love it. All right. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
Touchdown all day. There's so many different ways to get in there. Home runs are way more far and few between.
Yeah. All right. Night in or night out? What are you having more of these days?
Night in or night. We are total homebodies. Yeah, but if it's a night out, it's without kids.
Sure.
And it's just because I love them to death, but like my wife needs that to fill that quality time with me to fill her cup, and it's usually without children. So because I don't know, they always call mom. So it's God, no, it is night out now because kids are usually here with a babysitter. So night out.
I love it. All right, when you do go out and your jam comes on, and we're likely to hit the robot or the worm on the dance floor.
Robot. I've ripped too many pants trying to do the worm.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
For the sake of the pants. All right.
Yeah.
Guac or queso, your favorite Tex-Mex spot?
Jeez, queso.
He's quesoing it up. All right. Waffles or pancakes?
God. Waffle House, because you get the butter in the cracks. Like, it's staying there. It's not running off, and you're not having to chase the syrup around the plate. So waffles all day with pecans.
With pecans. I love that. All right. Coffee or tea with your waffles with pecans?
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea. All right.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. I can't stand cats.
All right. You're more like a ninja or a pirate?
Ninja. Beverly Hills Ninja.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
That movie did it. Yeah. Or Three Ninjas.
Three
I had
Ninjas?
two brothers. I was the youngest of three boys, so like that movie was like that was us. So yeah, Ninja all day.
I love it. All right. Chips or pretzels?
No, chips all day.
Chips. All right, fries or tots?
Tachos.
Tachos are, yep, I love
Yeah.
that. All right, TV show or a movie after a long night? All the kids are to bed. What do we got?
I mean, I'm a buff too, man. When it comes to those things, I think the best writers are in TV now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are aliens real?
Man, that's a load. I'm a conspiracy guy too, and I got a couple answers, but yeah, we don't have enough time to cover any of that. If we could just say like statement of like aliens, yes, they are real.
Okay. All right. What about Bigfoot? Is that real?
No, it's just more extremely tall people walking around. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Is love at first sight real?
Yeah, I mean, because love is a choice. You choose to love somebody. Yeah, I don't know. Is it lust at first sight? Is it, like, what is that? It depends on who the person is. Yeah, you probably could see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that type of beauty can, I guess, compel you. I mean, I see my wife and I'm compelled to love her by how beautiful she is. So, yeah, it compels you. Yeah, love at first sight. As long as it's not lust at first sight. Yeah.
Got it. All right. A lot of people say lust at first sight. They go, lust at first sight's real, but not love. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Give us a couple bands. This is the last question, Pete Peterson's Party Pack Questions. Give us a couple bands that we might not know that we ought to check out.
You might not know that you ought to check out. Josh Garrel's just put out some new music that I listen to him all the time when I'm like working, because it's that type of chill music that you can listen to while you work. Other music, the kids are loving Cody Johnson right now. I know everybody probably, if they listen to country music, listen to Cody Johnson. What else am I listening to right now? Gosh, man, that is a tough one. I might go into my Amazon Music, which Amazon Music, that's where artists make the most money. Other bands that not a lot of people know right now. Would I be a bad friend if I didn't like shout out other friends? Bands that don't know a lot about that you should listen to. I mean, I'm a part of some friends of mine. North Palm Worship, some of the coolest worship music coming out. Ivana Kamalani is this like pop, 80s pop. It's like Selena met R&B type music. Ivana Kamalani.
All right. Well, we can leave it at that. Josh Garrels, Cody Johnson, North Palm Worship,
Ivana
Kamalani. We'll rip it there. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Josh, congratulations on conquering the Pete Peterson Party Pack of Questions and this interview, man. I appreciate you taking the time on this Tuesday night to share some things with us. And everyone, go check out I Still Do. Go follow them on all the social medias at Gale Bird Music. Go to their website, hit some merch. Obviously, with Christmas coming up, definitely some good options out there. And be on the lookout if you're in Greenville, Brevard, Johnson City, or Charleston in March. They will be doing a little mini run, and we've got some singles coming out, in 2026. So go follow them on wherever you stream music, so you get the note like they got something new out. Josh, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure, Grant. Really appreciate what you do, man, and really appreciate you having us out.
Of course.